This is Taylor Kirby, the crustiest, dustiest MLM Nepo baby that the world has ever seen. You may remember him as the guy who tried to sell paparazzi accessories at a funeral.
I think they're gonna put the body in the ground.
Or the guy who called me ugly.
I'd rather look like me than you any day of the week, anti-mlm lady.
Or maybe you just know him as the brother of the CEO of paparazzi. Well, now, I don't think he's doing too well because on a recent live stream, not only did he admit to being in mental anguish, if I had to guess, it's because his $5, excuse me, $8 bling biz isn't doing so well these days. But then he goes on a bizarre, bigoted rampage. It's been a while since I talked about Taylor Kirby on this channel. If you've been here a while, you know this guy's like my arch nemesis. And I don't really personally keep up with him anymore, but you guys always send me stuff when he goes off the handle a little bit, so that's why we're here. He went off the handle. Yeah. So yeah, let's check up on old Furby, shall we? Now, this live stream is an hour and 31 minutes long. We're obviously not gonna watch anywhere near the whole thing, but there is a good section of him being on this bigoted rant that we're going to be looking into today. Honestly, I think this has been a long time coming for Taylor Kirby, and I guess anyone involved in paparazzi accessories at this point. They've not been doing so well. You know, they had to raise their $5 jewelry price point up to $8 now, and I think they also have like a high-end line now too. High-end? What's high-end for paparazzi, honestly? I'm not really sure. I haven't looked into it too much myself, but I do know that it seems like they're really trying to stay with their heads above water, you know? And from what I've seen too, a lot of some of their top reps have left. I guess you could argue that in the world of paparazzi, that just opens the door for more people to make it to the top of the company. But I mean, you need to be able to actually recruit people to be able to work your way up. And I'm sorry, but I just don't think that they're recruiting very many people right now. Because with paparazzi is one of these companies that, like LuLaRoe, it was like you have to, I say have to, technically they'd come back and say you don't have to, but it's like this is just how everyone does it in paparazzi, and doing it any other way doesn't really seem to work out. But basically people will buy a butt ton of inventory and then they'll go on Facebook Live or TikTok Live or whatever and try to sell it. Taylor Kirby, this is what he's doing here in this video. He is showing off new pieces or whatever and telling people like this is available if you want to buy it, blah blah blah. Taylor is interesting though because the reason he is where he is in the paparazzi food chain, if you will, is because his brother Trent Kirby is the co-founder of paparazzi. He didn't get here by just hard work and dedication. He got there because he's a Nepo baby. So save the tears, Furby, save the woe is me, blah blah blah. I mean, we're gonna see here that he's not doing that great, I don't think. And I think a lot of it could be tied to paparazzi just continuing to sink. Anyway, I think the first timestamp I have is of him basically admitting that he's like not mentally doing very well and just says some like self-deprecating like sad things. If I thought Taylor Kirby was a good person, then I would feel bad for him. Fortunately for me, I don't feel bad at all because I don't think he's a good person. I guess, yeah, let's start here.
How's everybody doing? You're hurting mentally? Girl, that's like every day, at least for me. Feel sorry for you, because I know how I feel every day. Please punch me in the face. We wish somebody had told you. Well, I mean, I've not had someone hold me in I don't know how many years. It has been a while. It has been a while. Yes, it has. You know. Yes, it has.
Few things here. First of all, he's gotten gray. Not to shame anyone who also has gray hair. Just happened really fast with Taylor Kirby because like, I mean, it hasn't been that long since I covered him. Like, it's been maybe a couple years, and he just full on went like full gray, dude. Normal sign of aging, I understand, but stress can also play a role in that kind of stuff. Second of all, it's like oversharing, right? Like, why are you talking about this on a paparazzi live stream? Like, he just gets on here and basically says, I'm so lonely because no one will hold me. He got divorced, but it wasn't recent. I don't know. You know, he seems to have like all this money, and everyone in paparazzi seems to adore this man. It's like, do you not have any, you know, dateable options out there for you? I mean, personally, I wouldn't touch this man with a 10-foot pole, but maybe he doesn't want that for himself, and that's fine. But you also seem really lonely. What a shame. Anyway, we are going to skip a little further here to the part where the rant actually starts.
Am I an ally? Yeah. Why not? Why not? Why not? Well, so, no. Yes and no. I'm an ally for anyone who's a decent human being. I don't care if you're black, white, Chinese, Asian, Hispanic. I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're gay, straight, bi, trans. But if you are a piece of crap, I'm not an ally for you.
Okay, here we go. He started off strong by saying, yes, I am an ally, but then very quickly was like, actually, being an ally does not mean that you have to personally support the actions of every single person in the LGBTQ plus community. It's more like you're supporting the community as a whole. It could also apply to like being an ally of minorities and things, but it's really not that hard to just be like, yeah, I'm an ally. He's like, why not? Why not be an ally? Yeah, exactly. Why not say you're an ally? Gay people aren't a monolith. Not every gay person is a good person. Not every trans person is a good person. But that's the thing about good people, is that it's subjective. So when Taylor Kirby says, if you're a piece of crap, then I'm not an ally to you, what do you define as a piece of crap? Just someone who doesn't agree with you? Define piece of crap, man. Because I think the values that I would hold within myself to be like, that person's a piece of crap, is going to be very different from someone like Taylor Kirby. Because he would look at me and say I'm a piece of crap, probably. But I personally think, like, I'm a pretty good person as a whole. But because I don't agree with the way he makes his money, he'd be like, no, I'm not an ally to you people. But, like, they're asking this during Pride Month. Like, it's just be like, yeah, and move on. This is not the end. It gets so much worse. This is when Furby starts really digging himself a hole. And this hole digging goes on for like 10 minutes. And I guess before I press play again, I do want to say there are some parts of this where I could say, like, I understand what he's saying and where he's coming from, but I don't think he's like correctly understanding what it means to be an ally. Just saying you're an ally means that you stand for the rights of people in those movements, like as a whole. And he's trying to take it very personally, and it seems odd to backtrack like this. Also, by the way, the Kirby family is Mormon. Obviously, I don't think that Taylor identifies as a practicing Mormon at this point. I don't know if he ever actually has identified that way, but he certainly is raised in a family with very strong Jesus-y, moral, right-wing conservative values. I'm just saying.
I'm an ally for decent human beings. I'm not an ally for anybody who's a piece of garbage. I don't care what race, gender, sexual identity you are. If you're POS, not an ally. Are we clear on that one? Everybody, you clear? Are we clear on that one? I'm an ally for any decent, normal human being.
Define normal, because if you're a straight white man, you probably think normal is a heterosexual relationship, you know? Like, what is your definition of normal? If someone has blue hair and facial piercings, are you gonna say that person's not normal because no one's born with blue hair and facial piercings? It's like, you know, it's so muddy the way he's talking about this. And I think he thinks he's doing himself a favor here, but he's really not. He's actually just digging himself deeper and deeper and deeper.
Male, female, I don't care, old, young, whatever you are. I don't believe in blanket, like, oh man, you guys are gonna get me off on it. I might get canceled tonight. It drives me crazy. Can I just be very honest? It drives me crazy when certain races, 100% no matter what, because you are this race, I got your back.
I don't think he's understanding, because yes, we have a certain judge on the Supreme Court Clarence Thomas, who is the biggest piece of shit on the face of the planet. I can think of a ton of other unfortunate people who align with parties and movements that go against their own interests. We'll just put it that way. But because I am not personally a fan of Clarence Thomas, doesn't mean that he's the apple that spoils the whole bunch, you know? He's a piece of shit, and I wish he would face some justice in his life, okay? That does not mean that I cannot say I'm an ally to black people, because they're not a monolith. And I think part of being an ally is understanding that groups of people are not monoliths. Being an ally means speaking up for their rights. It means if someone, for example, is being racist or homophobic, like someone in your life that you're around, it means speaking up and being like, why the fuck would you say that? I just don't think he's understanding what being an ally means. Because even people like Clarence Thomas and Ellen DeGeneres and fucking Caitlyn Jenner and stuff, do I think that they should have their rights taken away because I don't like them? No. In fact, I want them to have rights. Clarence Thomas is in an interracial marriage, but has made statements saying that he would be in favor of rolling back marriage equality, even though it, like, personally would affect him. Like, it's crazy. Like, that kind of stuff is crazy, and I don't support that. I don't support him as a human, but I still think that he should have a right to be married to whoever he wants to be married to, you know? I still think Caitlyn Jenner should be allowed to exist as a trans woman, even though I hate that woman. She's terrible. She's horrible. Just the most hypocritical piece of shit, man. But being an ally means if someone were around me and talking about Ellen DeGeneres, criticizing her for being gay, then I would call that out because it's irrelevant. Call her out for all the terrible things she's done, but her being gay is not something to criticize. Clarence Thomas, call him out on all of the positions that people have paid him to take, but to criticize him for being black, that's not a criticizable thing. I know everyone watching this video knows what I mean. Taylor Kirby clearly doesn't know what it means.
There are a lot of really crappy white people that I'm like, a stupidest person I've ever met in my whole life. Dumbest person I've ever met. Like, see ya. I think there's so many amazing Black or African American people. I think there's so many amazing Asian people. So many like Hispanics that I think are amazing. But on the same end, just because you're a minority doesn't mean I'm going to support you.
That's not what being an ally means. You don't have to support one individual person, but being an ally means supporting the group as a whole and standing up for them, especially when someone you know is talking down about them. Like, that's what being an ally is. It's fucking Pride Month and it's 2026, Taylor. There's no reason why you should be having this confusion.
I have amazing friends who are trans and bi and gay and straight.
I would like to know who Taylor Kirby's trans friends are. Doesn't he live in Utah? I'm not saying there's no trans people in Utah, but they certainly probably don't hang around the same circles that Taylor Kirby does. So how is he meeting these people? I don't know.
But then I have a lot that are really crappy people. I don't know what I have to say. If you're a crappy person, I don't care what you are. You're a crappy person, and we are not friends. Capiche? We clear? Okay. That one, iridescent, if you guys want that one, right? Yeah, and just because you're white doesn't mean I'm going to shop at your store. And just because you're white and a man doesn't mean we're going to be friends. And just because you're white and a man or a woman doesn't mean that I think you're amazing.
I mean, yeah, you would be racist as fuck if that were the case. If you look at someone based on their skin tone and or gender or sexual identity and make judgments just off of that without knowing the person, then that's very racist, homophobic, whatever of you. So that's good. You got that for ya.
Mary Jones, I suppose LGBTQ. I don't care. I think I'm going to tell you, I think labels are stupid. You'll find that out about me really fast. I think labels are stupid. I don't believe in labeling people. I don't believe in labeling groups. We are all human beings. We all believe in God. We are all children of God.
No, we don't all believe in God. Taylor Kirby, please. To chalk this up to being labels, it's not labels. These are people's identities. Labeling someone as gay is not a label. That's their identity. Like, that is part of who they are. What you identify as is not a label. A label would be like an e-girl, an influencer. You could say influencer is a label. An athlete a trait that you develop, but not something you're like born with. It's your identity.
There, you have my soapbox for the night. I think labels are the stupidest things. A furry, a whatever, a this, a that, Republican, a Democrat. Shut the fuck up. There you go.
A furry. I mean, yeah, I guess furry would be a label. It's its own group within a movement, I guess. I don't know. I feel like that could be a label. And like political ideologies, sure, I could see that being a label. But we're talking about being an ally to people who are gay and or Black, Hispanic groups that are regularly on the side of oppression, especially in the country that is known as the United States of America. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, and those aren't labels.
Stupidest thing. I don't believe in labels. I don't call people, like, I would never in my whole damn life introduce somebody as like, this is my gay friend so-and-so.
No one does that. No one does that.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. I've said, this is my friend so-and-so. And I'm not ever going to say, this is my African-American friend so-and-so. Or this is my Chinese-American friend so-and-so. Stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Do you know why you think it's stupid, Taylor? Because no one does that. Because everyone else thinks it'd be stupid to do that too. Who does that? For most people anyway, when you first meet somebody, there are some traits of that person that you can see with your own eyes. I know not everyone has the gift of sight, of course, but you know, most of us do. Obviously, gay isn't always something that you can see, but like races and stuff, like to introduce me as, this is my white friend Savannah, it's like, that's weird. He's on a soapbox that everyone agrees with, like that he's preaching to the choir. This isn't a controversial take, you know? This is just like, yeah, we all agree that's stupid and that's why no one fucking does it.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard. Dumbest. But I am who I am. I am who I am, and I just believe in people. I believe in good people and dumb people. And that's it. That's it. That's it. Right? And they are both all over the place. So no, I will never say I am a supporter of this, because again, you still have a lot of crappy people in there, and I don't support that. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. So you will never hear me say I'm a blanket supporter of nobody. Labels are stupid. Move on with your life. I believe in great people. I don't care what you are. Black, white, pink, green, furry, whatever. Well, furries I think are crazy, but whatever. That's my own opinion. You're not a dog. You're a human damn being, and stand up on two legs and walk like a normal person.
But like, how does that affect you though? If someone wants to be a furry in their spare time, and this is what they do behind closed doors most of the time. Yeah, there are some furry conventions and stuff like that that are few and far between, but in general, furries do this stuff on their own time, in their own privacy. How does that affect you? Are you suggesting that people who identify as furries or like to partake in furry activities, are you suggesting that they are not good people because of that? I'm having a hard time understanding what his classification standards are. And if you think they're crazy, fine, that you're right, that is your opinion, but like, why does it matter what they're doing? That it has nothing to do with you. You can think it's weird all you want. He keeps going back to like, I just believe in good people. Well, that's subjective. There are some people who think our current president is a good person. It's like, please. Like, there's overwhelming evidence to suggest he isn't, but people still believe it anyway. So it's so stupid to kind of write off support for an entire group of people because some people in that group aren't good people to your standards. So it seems silly to just kind of be like, no, I'm not an ally because some people who are LGBTQ aren't that great. And then if we were to compare and contrast what people in said movement we agree with or disagree with or find to be reprehensible or find to be someone we would like to support, we would have different answers probably, if I had to guess. Like, opinions only get you so far. He's allowed to have opinions, but the things that I think he's saying he has an opinion about, like, he doesn't even understand in the first place. You don't understand what it means to be an ally. You don't understand what any of these terms mean. You don't understand what a label is. Like, You're like lumping them all together. This is by Taylor's own logic. If you were to ask Taylor Kirby if he is an ally of the human race, he would have to say no, because some humans are shitty. It's like, okay, so if you're not an ally, what are you then? Are you an enemy of the human race? Like, and I agree that yes, there are shitty people, and I don't immediately go out like immediately wanting to trust and support people. For me, trust has to be earned. Respect has to be earned, or I will, I start every interaction with a neutral base level of respect and trust, and then your behaviors will determine whether or not I want to continue having conversations with you. It's just not black and white across the board like he's trying to say. Like he thinks it is. Like it's just... It's so weird. But by his logic, he doesn't even support the human race because some people are crappy.
Your parents should smack your butt, take the dog collar off, and then tell you to go to your room. What the hell are we doing? Right? You guys, who got me off on this stupid tangent? My gosh.
Taylor Kirby seems to have a personal vendetta against furries, and I wonder why that is. Just curious, what made him so against furries in his life? There must have been an interaction that makes him feel this way about furries. What could that be, Taylor? No shame here, buddy. You're into what you're into, okay? Even if he's never had an experience with a furry. He's just like making these assumptions based on what? It wouldn't be personal experience. I don't think he's like educated as far as what furries do and what they're into and what their lifestyle is and stuff. It's almost like if Taylor doesn't understand you, then he doesn't want to be an ally. He's not an ally of things that he doesn't understand, which understanding is definitely important when making decisions about your moral standings on things. In this case, they're not hurting anybody. That's my moral standpoint for basically everything. If you're not hurting anybody, and this is what makes you happy, and everyone is consensual, and everyone's having a good time, I don't give a shit what you do. The moment you start harming other people unconsensually, then I'm like, hard stop there. But I'm not going to say that I don't think furries should have the right to live the way they want to just because I don't understand it, or I don't find common ground with these people. No, they're not hurting anyone, so why the fuck do you care? Why are you so upset about it, Taylor? Furries specifically, he seems to have a vendetta against. Why is that? I think you have a little bit of soul searching to do.
Whose fault was this? The stupidest conversation I've had in a while.
You're talking to yourself.
Oh my hell. Okay, anybody want that iridescent necklace? I think it's dope. I think it's amazing. If you guys want that one, let me know. You guys threw me for a loop. Now I'm in like this crazy mood. Turtles. Why are there turtles? Do I have any turtles left? Anybody want a turtle? Did I jack up this post?
He's so flustered.
Jesus still loves me. Where the fudge mucker is my shite at? What in the fudge mucker?
He's the most cringe human being I've ever seen, dude. He always talks like this, too.
I don't support any alphabet group. I don't. I support good people.
Just a reminder, at the beginning of this, the question was, are you an ally? He immediately said yes, why not? And then quickly turned around and said no, and now he's saying, I don't support any alphabet group. I'm really confused about where he stands, because nothing he's saying is making sense. You're either an ally or you're not. You're either voting for politicians and policies that will advance human rights for everyone, as long as they're not harming anybody, or you're not. And I personally believe that you cannot call yourself an ally if you're voting for people who are openly homophobic, racist, all those things, who are running their campaigns on policies that will violate human rights. And I don't know if Taylor Kirby votes. I don't know who he voted for. I have a pretty strong guess who he would have voted for, but I don't know that for sure. I don't think you can call yourself an ally if you vote certain ways. You cannot say, oh, here's this guy over here. He's my best friend. He's also gay, but I voted for the politicians who want to take away his right to marriage. That you can't be an ally if you're doing that, in my opinion. And I think in most people's opinion, that's how it goes, but some people are stupid. I don't know.
I don't support any group, because even in a group, you have stupid people. I'm so done with stupid people in my life that I don't believe in saying I support this group. Stupidest thing ever. I support the good people group. How about that?
That's not a thing.
I don't believe in supporting a group. Sorry, I'm not a herd mentality. I actually have a damn brain in my head.
It's not herd mentality.
Eric! I'm on a tirade tonight. I'm on a emotional tirade right now. Wait. You would like this one. It applies to like most of the people up where you are. Wait. It does. It really does.
I want to know who this Eric guy is that he's talking to, because he said this applies to most of the people where you are. And I'm like, where is he? You know? Let me see. I'm going to find this post on his Facebook again and see if I can find whoever he's talking about. Because someone was commenting with the name Eric. Eric Barham. Let's see where Eric Barham's from. Oregon. So let's rewind here. And this is just me assuming that this is the right guy. I mean, I don't know how many men actually really watch Taylor Kirby, but this guy, if I had to guess, this is the only dude named Eric who's watching Taylor Kirby. This Eric guy shows up in Taylor Kirby's chat. Taylor goes, Eric, I'm on an emotional rampage, or whatever he said. And by the way, all these things I'm saying apply to most of the people where you're at. Oregon? Because Oregon is very well known for being a very blue state. Because he seems to have it out for people who live in Oregon, apparently. He thinks a lot of stupid people live in Oregon. Now, I will admit, I do know that Oregon is kind of separated by like a mountain range, and the coastal part of it is the very, very blue part where most of the people live. But that's the thing about land, is that land doesn't vote. So like on the other side of the mountains, there's another population of people who are kind of red. There's not as much of them. So Oregon's a blue state. To the point where Oregon, the more conservative side of Oregon, that borders, I think, Idaho, I think there was like a push that they were trying to merge that part of Oregon with Idaho and have it be like the greater Idaho area so that they would be their own like red state. Anyway, I maybe I'm just misunderstanding everything. Maybe I'm just speculating. Actually, I definitely am speculating. But all signs point to Taylor Kirby thinking that people in Oregon are stupid. Most of the people this applies to, is what he said. And most of the people in Oregon happen to vote a certain way and have beliefs in a certain direction. And I guess Taylor Kirby thinks those people are stupid.
So Eric, somebody said, are you an ally for the LGBTQIAF9er group? And I said, no, I'm not.
That's not what you said.
I'm not. Wait, that's what I said. I said, no, I don't believe in supporting any group and saying a blanket statement of, I support African Americans, I support white people, I support LGBTQIA, whatever acronym you want, right? I don't. Because in that, you still have some really crappy people. And I'm never going to say a blanket statement of, oh, just because you're this, you got my vote. Or you're safe at my house. No, if you're a crappy person, get the out. Oh my gosh. Like, so no, I don't believe in labels. I don't believe in gender labels or racial labels. No, I believe in good people, and you're children of God, and you're a good person or you're an idiot.
Not all of us believe that we're all children of God. A lot of us just believe that we're just part of the human race, dude, and we're just here. So, yeah, because that's what he said earlier. He's like, we all believe in God. No, we don't. We're all children of God, and I don't think we are. But I will always fight for your right to believe that, Taylor. Doesn't matter if I'm an atheist. I think people do have the right to hold whatever religious beliefs they want, whether I agree with them or not. I think people have the right and the freedom to believe what they want, as long as it's not harming anybody. The moment I start having an issue with religion is when it starts leaving the religious boundary, I guess. Once it starts leaking into politics, once it starts leaking into social circles who then believe it's okay to start kind of demonizing people of a certain group, that starts to harm people, and that's where I draw the line. But hey, if you want to go to church every Sunday and sing some hymns and jam out to some music of a guy behind the noise-proof drum glass, which is always really cool, I like watching them, you're right, you're totally allowed to do that. If you want to hang some crosses in your house and pray to them every day, that's totally your choice. You are not harming anyone by doing that. It's once you start deciding to hate people because a book tells you to, that's when I have a problem. When you start voting for people who want to legislate against the rights of those people, that's when I have a problem. It's just there's so much more nuance behind this than Taylor Kirby wants to admit, and it's just annoying.
If you're an idiot and a piece of crap, not supporting you just because
subjective.
You're flying a flag. I don't give two, you know what? I support good people. That's the group I support.
Subjective.
Okay. Tirade over. now. Like, stupid. You're not going to hear me say, like, oh, yeah, you're safe at my house. No. If you're POS, you're not safe at my house. I'll kick you in the teeth. I have pew-pews at my house for a reason. You come in unexpected, I don't care what you are. You're going to get pew-pewed in the face.
Now we're like threatening violence against people, which again, you know what? Yeah, if someone breaks into your house meaning to cause you harm, you have every right. Well, I guess it depends on what state you live in, but you have every right to stand your ground, let's say it that way, in certain states. I believe he's in Utah, which if I had to guess, it's probably a stand your ground state. He has the right to do that if someone breaks into his home unexpectedly, sure. Because we've been just talking about being an ally this whole time. We've been talking about your support for groups of people who are not as privileged as you in your white straight manhood. So to kind of immediately start being like, no, if you come to my house, I'll pew pew you. Like, I know what he means, but it's just, it's the way he's saying it in the topic of conversation we're having while he's saying it is a little crazy. It's kind of a big leap here. You went from being like, I'm not going to support certain groups of people to being like, I will shoot anyone, I will kick them in the teeth if they come to my house. Like, whoa, that went from 0 to 60 real fast, Taylor.
I'm here alone and I have dogs, and if you want to enter that door unannounced at 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't care what you look like. You'll be pew-pewed.
I mean...
Okay, that is my right.
Like, we weren't talking about home invaders.
This is a dub hoop. Dub hoop, right?
Those are ugly.
Because there are many white people that I have blocked. There are many black people that I've blocked. There are many Hispanics that I've blocked. There are many straight people I've blocked. Right? I don't care who you are. There's lots of people I've blocked in my life, and I don't care.
I've blocked people who I ideologically align with also, but that doesn't mean I can't consider myself like an ally of those people, like as a whole. It's a weird, like, false equivalence thing that he's doing here. I think his rant is like mostly over, but then he starts talking about Jesus later. So I want to kind of get to that, and then we don't have to watch the rest of it.
I know, I have blocked thousands. Lots of white people have I blocked. I've blocked a lot of people who suck. 6'7", I have standards. You don't meet my standards? Who loves Jesus? Ah! Mother trucker, are you really there? And do you punch everybody in the face?
Why would you say that?
Sheila? Now, back to loving Jesus after we said all the things that we said. Jesus said, love nice people and hate mean people. Yeah, he did.
That is not
Trust
what
me.
Jesus said.
I'm Taylor Kirby. I'm your bearded bling boss. I don't love everybody. I don't support everybody. I support nice people.
Okay, but like in the Bible, Jesus said, love thy neighbor, which literally, I mean, it means love everybody. That's like very Christian principles. It's the whole like love the sinner, hate the sin kind of thing. And he's just like, I love Jesus, but also I don't love everyone. It's like, oh, okay, so what do you love about Jesus then? Do you love his teachings? Do you love what he stood for? It doesn't seem like you do. Like, how can you say you love Jesus, but then you don't do what Jesus tells you to do or tells you how you should behave? I don't believe that Jesus said anything about punching everyone in the face. Somehow I don't think Jesus said any of that. It's just, again, it's like people who just want to be like, I love God, I love Jesus, but then they don't want to live that reality, I guess.
I just got these silver ones in today.
Okay, I will say, hold on, let me get a clearer picture here. Compared to what we're used to seeing from paparazzi, I don't think this is that bad.
I love Jesus. I love people who love Jesus. So yeah, we got Jesus. Right?
Okay, do you love people who don't love Jesus? I think this is where we're gonna end it here, because then he like goes off on other rants about like Crumble Cookie and stuff, talking about how great the founders and CEOs' houses are and shit. It's weird. One of the CEOs is gay, I guess. One of their like brothers. He does make some little remarks about him being a weirdo and stuff. So it's like, okay, well, that's not coming from a very allied point of view. But aside from that, I don't think there's anything else weird in this live. I don't think Taylor Kirby's doing okay. That's basically the gist of, you know, the message that I'm trying to portray today. I don't think Taylor Kirby is doing okay, because I don't think paparazzi is doing okay. And quite frankly, we love to see it. So with that, let's end it here. Let's thank my patrons and my members, guys. The list of names I'm about to read off are my financial supporters. They get access to things like our private Discord server. We have a postcard club, early access to new videos whenever I'm able to give you that, and sometimes even more than that. So if any of that sounds good to you, you can go to patreon.com/SavannahMarie, or you can click the join button beneath this video to join my YouTube memberships. Just whatever works for you works for me. So with that, the biggest thank you in the whole wide world goes to Hula Chowdown, Katrina Rosemarick, Jacqueline Nutton, Kessie Drew, Marie Silver, Maddie Darley, Ray, Caroline Reed, Sinead Maria Venus, Wander Dice, Love to Be Evil, Nicole Hensley, Wendy Irons, Luciana Valiente, Emily from Kansas, Hannah Moe, Alex Offbeat, Cats Rule Here, 1972, that's what's up, Aaron Adler, LaSalle Story, Fluffy Duck Butt 24, Ferd Turgeson Esquire, Just Mark, Alice Wagner, Fallon Harris, and Zoe Slater. And to the rest of my financial supporters, thank you so much for being here and being you. And even if you're not a financial supporter, I just appreciate you being here and making it to the end of this video, because YouTube does love watch time. So you just being here helps my channel grow. And yeah, I just appreciate it very much. With that, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye.